Would you believe the 6 months here in Sydney is finished? Time's gone so fast, I can't believe it. What did we do here for 6 months? Well,
it all began here, and the generosity of a very good friend let us have his place here in the Meriton Suites and use it as a base for 6 months. Around Circular Quay now there's of course the Harbour Bridge, Opera House. Our evening walk for the night. Absolutely dwarfed by all these huge high rises. And this one known locally as Packer's Pecker. Most mornings I'd start with my icon walk, as Robert, our host, would call it. I'd start in the War Memorial, Hyde Park, then head to the Botanical Gardens, Mrs Macquarie's Chair, Opera House, Circular Quay, onto the Rocks, the Harbour Bridge, Barangaroo, Darling Harbour, and then home to the unit. And then there were Sydney's festivals. How we love Sydney's festivals. Every day there was something new. Of course, we started with the Christmas markets and the Christmas festival before heading to Ballarat to have Christmas with the family. We're watching these few fireworks from our unit. Little idea of what it's going to look at New Year's Eve when we won't be here. I was working, so I got to enjoy the fireworks in Tassie. Fireworks show over Hobart. Whilst Dave had a quiet one back in Ballarat with my nieces and her family. Still not quite back to Sydney's festivals. We had to do Tamworth first. Down to my knees, but I'll never give up on chasing my dreams. Sometimes this life it don't go to plan, but I'm on my way to a second chance. After all this hard work, we had to get back to Sydney to start the house set. Back in Sydney, nearly every week there's a new festival, and we enjoyed most of them. It seems so appropriate to start with Chinese New Year, the Year of the Dragon.
Away we go!
Happy St. Paddy's Day! St. Patrick's weekend was so much fun, even though it was only actually the Sunday that was St. Paddy's Day when they had the parade. We had a few Guinnesses that day. I don't know if it was the atmosphere, but bloody hell, they tasted good.
Captain Farrell on his money he was counting. First produce my pistol, I then produce my rapier. Said stand and deliver, for I am the bold deceiver. Musha ring dem a doo dem a da. Whack foul my daddy-o, whack foul my daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar. Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter. Musha ring dem a doo dem a da. Whack foul my daddy-o, whack foul my daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar. Musha.
Then we move into the more sombre month with Anzac Day. I was away working, but Dave, though he missed the dawn service, got down to the parade and represented the both of us. I was back in time for Vivid though, which is Sydney's answer to the White Night, and it goes on for a couple of weeks. It was amazing. What we weren't prepared for was the crowds. It was crazy. This was on drone night and it had been cancelled, and there was still millions of people. It was just a carpet of people. I can honestly say we were never bored. Just dropped down to Darling Harbour. There was Greek festival, Ukraine festival, dinosaurs playing drums. Definitely always something happening, either Darling Harbour, Circular Quay or just the city itself. We had a list and we went about ticking them off slowly. The Blue Mountains were one. We did this with some we did with friends, some we did on our own. A ferry to Manly. Of course we did the Bondi to Manly walk, about 80 kilometres over 4 days, which was great.
There's Brenda. Wheezing. She's made it. There's a beautiful tree. Now she goes in the darkest depths of Double Bay. Yeah, she talks as she walks.
This is more like it. A lot of stairs.
I reckon that's Sydney Nolan's first cousin. And a natural shower. Okay.
Another very long staircase. It took us through national park, beaches, suburbs.
That is pretty awesome.
It was great. Oh dear, not again. Not more stairs.
There she is, doing her favourite, walking up steps.
And of course, finished back at Manly and a ferry ride back home to our unit. Sydney had so much to offer, and just a ferry ride away or a bus ride was amazing. Another of our favourite things to do was to catch the ferry to wherever. Cockatoo Island was one of those places. Held an important part of our penal history, being settled in 1839. It was amazing to see these silos which the convicts dug by hand. The controversial 20-grain silos were dug to store surplus wheat to safeguard against shortages, but the British government put an end to that, claiming interference with free trade. Only some of these silos have survived, but the blood, sweat and tears that must have went into them. They were at least 6 metres long and 6 metres in diameter. To get through all that rock is unbelievable. Apart from that, Cockatoo Island played an important part in the shipbuilding industry and the war effort. Also, it was a reform school at once, and it had a beautiful cafe in there too where we had our lunch. It was a great day. Another lovely ferry ride was out to Doyle's at Watson's Bay, where we had the obligatory fish and chips. We even dabbled in the arts and cultural scene while we were in Sydney.
Only here at all, because I say, definitely it's time to leave.
We went to the galleries. We saw a Banksy exhibition. We checked out many of the most magnificent buildings throughout Sydney, the library being one. And all the way from the Irish House of Parliament, the Doyle, come Queen Victoria to sit in front of the Queen Victoria building. There's even a statue of a dog. The Queen Victoria building itself was quite impressive, though the shops were a bit on the high end for us. And whilst we're in Sydney, we were lucky enough to meet a friend who was part of an international group called Greeters. I hadn't heard of them before. Greeters are a worldwide non-profit organisation. They are in destinations around the world and they offer private free walks with locals through cities. And Lynn was our Sydney greeter, who was also a friend. She was enthusiastic and so knowledgeable and enjoyed showing off Sydney to us. Took us all in little nooks and crannies where we wouldn't think of going in by ourselves. It was a beautiful insight to Sydney. She was also one of our backup people when we had to leave Sydney, which we did too many times for either work or to visit the grandchildren. But Lynn was there and so was Nicola. Thank goodness. Or we would have killed them all. One of the highlights was Lynn taking us on the riverboat Postman, which was down the Hawkesbury River. How beautiful. And we even had scones and then we had lunch. You couldn't ask for any more. And the day was perfect. A bit cool, but we were raked up. But perfect. And then too late, we found the mystery of the hidden bars and spent our time trying to find speakeasies and hidden bars. We had a ball. It found us climbing stairs, going down alleys, knocking on doors at the most random places and opening up into the most beautiful bars. One of our favourites was Shady Pine Saloon. Looking for a speakeasy. I don't think that's it.
Is it here?
It's here. This is how you recognise it. I don't know how. Somewhere up there that has Shady Pines. Well, it doesn't look the most hospitable, but once you got in there, it was gorgeous. They all had their own themes. This was country themed. It had moose's heads and God knows what, but it was so much fun. Others had us going downstairs miles or upstairs miles, and they all ended up in exquisite little bars. We didn't do them all in one night. We'd do one maybe once a week or twice a week and find a new one the next week. Never go there on a Saturday night. It was tried it one night on a Saturday night. It was crazy. Just too many people. Where I'm going, but we'll go up this way, I think. I think that's the only way we can go. I haven't seen any sign for Baxter's yet. There's Dave. He's found it. I guess this is it. The Clarence is on that side. He hadn't found it. It took us quite a bit more before we found Baxter's. And it ended up not being one of my favourites. It was a whiskey bar. It was okay. But we'll definitely have to return to Sydney. There's so many more we have to find. And during and in between, I was working a lot. We were house sitting also down Victoria. It was a very busy 6 months. In March, I got to do the Bellarine Peninsula retreat, and then I followed it up with the Echuca riverboats. And in between each of these, I got to stay with Jared, Em, and Little River, so that was a bonus. Dave, in the meantime, was making flights back to Hervey Bay to check on things there. And everyone knows how much Dave likes flying. Finding our place overgrown in pumpkins at one stage. And the garden was pretty overgrown altogether. So we've got a house sitter in for the next few months. Absolutely mad. I'll keep Dave busy for the week. Then we flew to Victoria, where we did a house sit, or Dave did a house sit for a month while I jet-setted. Got to take a route to Singapore. It's challenging, but beautiful. Then it was off to Broome for a week, which is really beautiful. Loved it. Then it was the highlight of my week calendar, off to Canada and Alaska. Great group also. Would love to return there with Dave in tow. Maybe we can find a house sit. I know, my work's really tough, but someone has to do it. Even managed to catch up with this couple of travellers, Chris and Bea, from the other end of the world, the UK. Amazing where we find each other. And so here it finds us back in Hervey Bay after our 6 months in Sydney, which was amazing.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Robert. We wouldn't have got to know Sydney at all, only for that house sit.
Yeah.
Being back in Hervey Bay has been a bit like a holiday.
It's been hard work. The garden's got a lot of work to be done.
That's true.
And the rain has just everywhere is soggy just at the moment. Yeah.
And it's been really cool,
Yeah.
which is which
Bit
is
by bit
unusual.
we're winning back. Bit by bit we're winning
The sun's
back,
out at the moment. Life seems nice again. We've had Jenny and Greg up, which is great. We get to see our grandkids down in Canberra and Ballarat.
Lovely.
Fly there when we can. I'm heading off to work again in September, so I'll get to see both of
On the
them.
move.
But otherwise, God knows what the next 6 months has in store for us. I am planning to do the Camino in November with Mairead.
And I'm planning just to stay here and do cleaning and look after the unit and the house.
Keep the house up to date.
Yeah, but I am going down to Ballarat to see Jared and Emily and River for their birthday.
So life is good. And we'll see
Touch
you
wood.
next time.
Touch wood.
Hopefully it doesn't take me 6 months to do the next video. It probably will.
I hope not.
Oh, God bless.